Welcome to Study Time, a televised home learning program produced by Rwanda Education Board.
Hello, runners. How are you? I hope you're okay. You're welcome to biology lesson, senior 6th class. So as usual, I'm Teacher Claude. Today we're going to see unit number 8, senior 6, which is the general principles of reception and response in animals. And then the lesson of today is the types of sensory receptors. And then what is the objective of our lesson? At the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe the main types of sensory receptors, and also you will be able to discuss the main functions of sensory system. Be ready. I hope you have your notebook where you can write the explanation of the lesson of today. Now, when we talk about these sensory receptors, what does it mean? In our body, you have to communicate with the environment. We have to detect what's happening to the environment. What's the changes that are occurring to the environment? And that's to be able to detect what's happening in the environment, even inside of our body, outside and inside of the body. We have to, that's what we call we have the ability to respond to the stimulus. To respond to the stimulus. If you see, for example, if you look, you see something. So while you are able to see and then differentiate what you are seeing, differentiate different image. So it is because you have these sensory receptors. So when you smell, when you are able to smell, so it is happening because you have sensory receptors, sense organs. Isn't this? You hear, if someone is talking, you hear the sounds through those sensory receptors, which means the receptor that can receive what? Receive the sounds, then you hear. If there is something that is touched on your body, you can hear there is something that is happening on your body. Why? Because you have what you call sensory cells. Are you together? Now, if you eat, you can test the food you are eating. How is it? Is it salty? Is it sweety? Is it bitter? To know that, we need what you call sensory receptors to detect that. So that is now what you call sensory receptors. And these sensory receptors occur, or they do found in what you call sense organs. Remember, we have how many sense organs? Sense organs. Sense organs. We have organs, and you have what they do sense. They sense what? How many sense organs do you have? They are 5. Nice. We have eye or eyes. What eyes sense? What is the sense? It is for the sight, seeing. To see. You are able to see different colors because you have now this sense organ called the eye. Eye helps us to see different things. Another sense organ is what you call ear. This ear. Ear, they do help us to do what? For hearing. Actually, it's to help to hear different sounds. Hearing. What another sense organ, you know? Oh, nose. Nose. Yeah, nose, yeah. Nose is a sense organ. What's the nose sense? What is the sense for this sense organ? Is what? Is smell. You smell. For example, when you are cooking food, you can hear the smell of that food. You can smell then and say, that's good food. That is smell. You use your nose. Smell. What another sense organ is skin. 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 What skin sense? Skin is touch. Touch means if there is something that is touching you on your body, you can sense that. You can detect that. You can detect that there is something that's touching you. Not only touching you, you can, for example, touch on the hot object. What's it going to do when you touch the hot object? You remove your finger quickly. Why? Because you have what you call these sense organs that can sense this. Another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth one is what you call tongue. Tongue. Who can tell us what's tongue? It helps for what? Yes, I see someone who can try. Yes. Oh, yes, for taste. To taste the food, to know whether your food is salty or sweet, you use this tongue. So those are sensory organs. We call it sensory organs. They are called sensory organs. These are sense. Now, to do this, actually, this to work, they need what you call stimulus. Stimulus. What is a stimulus? Is any change that can be detected by these receptors to be detected. For example, if temperature increases, if it is sunny, what's going to happen? You're going to hear that the temperature is increased on your body. So what helps you to hear that there is an increase of temperature? It is what you call receptors. Yeah? And then the increase of temperature is what we call stimulus. Are you getting this? That is, when there is no stimulus, those sensory organs cannot work. They do work because there is something that can cause the body to react. Any change that is happening. So we give the example of a temperature stimulus. Can you give another example of a stimulus? Oh, nice. We have very many examples of stimuli. When it is stimulus is in singular. When it is in plural, we say stimuli. Stimuli. Right. The light can be stimulus, can cause our eyes to do what? To detect, to see different colors. Yeah, because there is presence of the light. So there are different stimulus that can happening. Even food, for example, food. When there is presence of food in the mouth, that is stimulus. That will cause this tongue to do what? To work. Yes, that is what you call stimulus. You understand what is stimulus? Stimulus is any change that can be detected by the body. Change in the temperature. The food is present, the light is present. All those, they are what? They are stimuli. Now, we have what you call receptor cells. What are receptor cells? Those are the cells that are sensitive to a particular stimulus. A particular stimulus. Those are what you call receptor cells. They do contain, they are found in those sensory organs. We can call sensory organs. They are found in these sensory organs. They are called receptor cells. They are the one that will do what? Will receive. We will receive the stimulus. We will know that there is what? There is change in our body. Those are what you call receptor cells. Are you getting what are receptor cells? Yeah. We can see example of these receptor cells. Let's say chemoreceptor. Chemoreceptors. Those are receptor cells that are found in the skin to detect what? The stimulus called what? The stimulus called temperature. That's why they are called chemoreceptors. Are you getting this? Now, we have another example of these receptor cells is what? Is, for example, photoreceptors. Photoreceptors. They do detect what? The stimulus, which is what? Which is the light. For example, you cannot see. Our eyes cannot work when there is no stimulus, when there is no light. Have you tried to see when there is no light at night? You cannot see because there is no light. But when the light is present, we are able to see. Now, yeah, light is the stimulus, which can be detected by receptor cells called photoreceptors. You can also have another example of these receptor cells, chemoreceptors. They do detect what? The presence of chemicals. Like this smell we are talking about. They are detected by receptor cells called chemoreceptors. Are you getting what is receptor cells? Are you getting what is stimulus? Nice. Now, we have types of what? Types of receptors. Types of receptor cells. Now, receptor cells, they are going to be classified according to the types of what? Of stimulus they do detect. If we classify the receptors according to the types of stimulus they do detect, we have the following what? The following types of receptors. We have what you call mechanoreceptors. Mechanoreceptors. They call the mechanoreceptors. Mechanoreceptors. You see there is mechanoreceptors. So what are those kind of receptors, mechanoreceptors? They do detect change in mechanical energy, such as movement. When there is a movement, and then when that movement can cause you to hear that there is a movement, either movement of air, movement of sound. For example, if the car is moving in the road, you can hear the sound of the car. So what can detect that? That it is mechanical. Just you hear. That is actually to detect that, we have what you call mechanoreceptors. Someone can do like this for you, then you hear that there is someone who's pressing you, a pressure on you. In that case, the receptors that can detect that is what you call mechanoreceptors. So as you can see, you see, which the mechanoreceptors are receptors that detect the changes in the mechanical energy, such as movements, pressure, tensions, gravity, and sound waves. So those mechanoreceptors, they are found in the skin. Are you getting what are mechanoreceptors? Nice. Now we have what you call chemoreceptors. The second, chemoreceptors. Chemoreceptors. So we have receptors and chemo. Those are the receptor cells that can detect what? Can detect the chemical stimuli. For example, so just write examples. For example, smell, taste, to see that something is salty or sweety. The receptors that can detect that, they are called chemoreceptors. They are found, for example, on the tongue, in the nose, they are found there. Those are chemoreceptors. We have now what you call thermoreceptors. 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 Thermoreceptors, as they say, those are receptor cells that can detect the change in the temperature changes. For example, when it is cold, when you wake up in the morning, then you sense that it is cold. What's going to inform you that it is cold? So we have what you call thermoreceptors that are found on the skin, in the skin. They are just on our skin. They are there. They inform you that it is cold. They are the one that detect that stimulus of coldness. Are you getting this? If it is hot, those thermoreceptors in the skin, they are going to detect that hotness. Are you getting this? Is it good? And then what's happened when it is cold for you? When you wake up, then you hear it is cold. What's going to do? What are you going to do? Yes. Someone can try. You can wear what? You can wear a coat. Do you think which is inform you, which is tell you to wear a coat? It is because thermoreceptor, they have detected that it is cold. And then they send impulse. They send what you call impulse message to the what? To the brain. And then the brain is going to tell you to do what? To take a coat. Are you getting that? Nice. Those are thermoreceptors. They do detect the change in what? In the temperature. We have now what you call electroreceptors. 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 So those ones, they do detect what? The electrical field. Sometimes you can touch on the electricity with your finger. What's going to happen? You remove quickly your what? Your finger from what? From electricity. Actually, these receptor cells we are talking about, they are there just to save us. Because if we don't have those receptors, we can even not know that there is what? There is a problem of the electricity. So that's why when you touch on electricity, you move quickly your what? Your finger. Because there are what? There are what you call electroreceptors in what? On your skin. Are you getting this? Now we have what you call photoreceptors. Photo means light. Those are the receptor cells that can detect what? Can detect the change in the what? In the light. For example, when you see that there is light outside or inside, when it is at the night, which receptor that receive that light so that you can be able to see? They are what we call photoreceptors. Where those photoreceptors are located, they are found on what we call the retina. The retina is one part of what? Of the eye. Is where those photoreceptors are located. So the eyes cannot working if they don't have those photoreceptors. Because we are able to see because there is what? There is light. Are you getting this? Those are what we call photoreceptors. Clear? Nice. So, according to the types of stimuli, we have how many types of receptors? We have 5. We have what you call mechanoreceptors. We have what you call chemoreceptors. We have what you call electroreceptors. We have what you call photoreceptors. And then we have what you call thermoreceptors. Have you caught something? You can explain and give examples. Now, we can also classify the receptor cells according to their structure. Are you getting this? So we have the simple receptors. Those simple receptors, They are also known as what? Primary receptors. These, they do consist of a single neuron. Neuron. Neuron is what? Those are nerve cells that carry what? The message, that carry impulse. We shall see this. So when there is this single neuron in the receptor, that receptor, they are called simple receptors or primary receptors. At the end of this neuron, it is where we have this sensitive or that can detect the stimulus. Are you getting this? This is what you call simple receptors. We have also actually is this. Primary receptors or single receptors, they do gather sensory information and then transmit this information to what? To another neuron or an effector. They are called primary receptors. They have single neuron, which means that neuron will carry information to the effector. For example, if you touch on the electricity, so do you think to remove your finger, is it come from where? There is information that is going to be sent on what? On the finger, then you remove it. Finger, they are going to be considered as what? As an effector. Yeah, actually, that. Now, we have a secondary receptor. We have simple and this secondary. Secondary consists of modified epithelial cells. It is just complex. It's a complex what? Receptors, which is sensitive to a particular type of what? Of stimulus. Are you getting this? This is the complex one. It is somehow complex compared to the simple ones. The cells here, the cell sense the changes and pass this information on the neuron. And then this neuron is going to transmit what? Transmit that message as what? As nerve impulses. Actually, let's take an example of this secondary receptor or complex receptors. Those are sense organs. Yeah. They have a group of receptors. Let's take, for example, the skin. Skin, we can say it is a secondary receptor or complex because on the skin we can have more than what? More than one receptor cells. For example, we can have thermoreceptor on the skin, we can have mechanoreceptor on the skin, more than one. It's a group just of receptor cells. That is what you call the complex what? Receptors. So we can see on this diagram on the screen. You see, this one is the what? Is the simple receptors, where we have these primary receptors here, and then the stimulus when it's coming is going to be detected by what? By this primary receptor here. But if you go for the secondary receptor, you see here it is very complex. It is very complex. You can have more than one neuron where more neurons can meet. Then they can detect what? The stimulus. Now, a third classification of receptor is based on the source of stimulation. We have three types of what? Of receptors according to the source of what? Stimulation. We have what you call exteroreceptors. Exteroreceptors. Those exteroreceptors, they do respond to the stimulus that comes from outside. Yeah, actually, we have now this third classification of receptors based on the source of stimulation, where we have three types. We have exteroreceptors, we have interoreceptors, we have also these proprioceptors. What is the difference? Exteroreceptors, they do respond to the stimulus from the outside of the body, like temperature. Interoreceptors, they do respond to the stimulus inside of the body, like the increase of glucose. Increase of glucose, increase of osmotic pressure, that one is going to be detected by what you call interoreceptors that found inside of the body. We have now what you call proprioceptors that respond to the change of the joint angle in the muscles. Actually, in the joint, you can hear there is a pain. To hear that there is a pain in your angles of the joints, in your muscles, that is going to be detected by what you call proprioceptors. Those are the three types of what? Of receptors according to the source of stimulation. When the source is the outside, that one is called exteroreceptors. When it is the outside, that one is called interoreceptors. When it is between the joints, that one is called proprioceptors. Those are the types of receptors that you have seen today. Make sure you continue revising. Now, you can have this homework, yes. You'll be able to describe the main types of sensory receptors. You have seen that. Distinguish primary receptor and secondary receptor. Which types of receptor detect the changes in the internal environment? And then you have to mention one of the 5 categories of sensory receptors is primarily dedicated to external stimulus. So make sure you do this homework and then continue to make the research about what you call sensory receptors. We shall meet by next time. Bye. See you.